Morning Year 5, and we're continuing with decimal fractions today. So, here I have 1 whole. Okay, and I can write that on my chart there. And remember that 1 whole is made up of 1,000 thousandths, or I could say it's made up of 100 hundredths, or I could even say it's made up of 10 tenths, however you choose to break it up there. And then this little part here, this is 1,000th, because it's just one part of the whole, 1,000th. So I look at my place value chart, I have no whole numbers at all, decimal point, no tenths, no hundredths, just 1,000th. So that's how I write it as a fraction and a decimal fraction. They're equivalent to each other. So then when I have 10 thousandths, well, I actually call this 1/100th. Okay, I can simplify it to 1/100th, because now if I had 100 of these, I'd be able to make 1 whole. That's why it's 1/100th. So again, I've got no ones, decimal point, no tenths, and just 1/100th. I could also say I've got 10 thousandths if I wanted to. And then here now, well, what happens then when I get 10 hundredths? I can also describe that as 100 thousandths. But I can actually also simplify it to 1/10th. And remember, if I had 10 of those and stack them all behind each other, I'd be able to make 1 whole. That's why it's 1/10th. Okay? So again, I've got 0 ones, put in my decimal point, 1/10th. Okay, so I could just write it as 0.1. I could say I've got 10 hundredths, or I could even say I've got 100 thousandths. Okay, it's just a quick reminder there. So your task today is to write the parts of the whole as a fraction, a decimal fraction, and in words. So here, well, I've got there were no whole numbers there at all. So I can put my 0 in and my placeholder there. So, do I have any tenths? Yes, I do. I've got 1/2 tenths. So I can put that into my chart there. And then here, well, remember these are hundredths, because if I had 100 of them, that would make 1 whole. So I've got 4 hundredths. I also have 1, 2, 3 thousandths. So let's write this now as a fraction. Well, what's the whole made up of? Remember, the 1 whole was made up of 1,000 parts. So my fraction's going to be out of 1,000, and I write 243, because I say this as 243 thousandths. Okay? Can I simplify that? No, I can't. So the way we would write it would be 243 thousandths. And the way I know it's thousandths is quite simply because there is a number that has a value in the thousands column. You need to recognise that and then say if it's out of 1,000 then. Here now, again, there are no whole numbers, so I put my 0 in there, put my decimal point in. I've got 1/10, remember 10 tens make one whole, so I've got 1/10. And I've got 2 hundredths. And there are no thousands. So again, I can write my fraction out of 1,000. And here, can I simplify this fraction? Yes, I can. Both of these will divide by 10. I know that because they both end in 0. So, 120 divided by 10 is 12. 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. I've got 12 hundredths. Okay? Another way to approach that is to look where your final digit is. Well, there's no digits, there's no value in the thousands. Oh, I've only got up to hundredths, so I can say I've got 12 hundredths. So I should write that down for you. 12 hundredths. Okay, 12 hundredths. Here now, I've got, again, no whole numbers, 0. Put my decimal point in there as well. I've got 1, 2, 3 tenths. I've also got no hundredths. However, I still need to put a 0 in there as a placeholder because I do have thousands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 thousandths. Okay, let's write that now. Remember, out of the whole, which is 1,000, I'm going to write 308. Can I simplify it? No, I can't divide 308 by 10 or 100, so I cannot simplify that. Okay? And again, remember, I've got a value in the thousands, so I need to say my number out of 1,000. So I write this one as 308 thousandths. Okay? So write your fraction out of 1,000 and then see if you can simplify it. And remember, you only say the number up to where you've got the digits. Best of luck.